What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the data points, what moved it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi did close in the green 1.53%, 27.75 the low, 28.69 the high, and a lot of volume. So 66.66 million shares being traded. Way too many sixes there, but 66.7 is the average. Nothing from the company itself, so no SEC filings, no press releases, just a lot of articles kind of going over what I brought up yesterday, and that was how the Trump administration is kind of selling 1.6 or planning on selling $1.6 trillion worth of student loans. So again, how algorithmic trading works is if there's a lot of articles kind of relatively bullish, then algos will really push a stock higher. So this is why if we pop over to the flow, you see a lot of smaller transactions. So of course that could be retail, but based on the magnitude, it is fair to assume that algos were the main reason why SoFi was really moving higher. So I think just a lot of bullish articles coming out associated to it. At the same time, you do see a lot of these types of articles just saying, for instance, Mainstay Capital did acquire 21,957 shares. So a lot of these types of ones, and for those of you that have been watching my videos every day, there's been a lot of very weird transactions. Even today, there was a couple that I want to go over in a second, but maybe there are some institutions buying, but still nonetheless, a lot of good bullish articles coming out. One thing that did happen that kind of caused the broader market to kind of crap itself was Powell. So I personally find this funny, even though a lot of my stocks did go down today, but Powell. So yesterday we did have a little bit of a pullback during power hour because people were fearful over what Powell was going to say. Best case scenario, what the market was assuming was that Powell was going to come out and pretty much reiterate exactly what the FOMC minutes stated, how a lot of members were really wanting and are for rate cuts, multiple rate cuts in the foreseeable future. So that's what the market was assuming Powell was going to come out and say. But Powell did his introduction, but did not talk about monetary policy whatsoever. So it's kind of funny how Powell speaks, market goes down. Powell doesn't speak, market goes down. So it's kind of a weird scenario, but nonetheless though, SoFi didn't give two craps. It just did its thing and went higher. So definitely good to see. As far as shorts, they did return 8.09 million shares. So algos and shorts, they were obviously the big attributing factors, but shorts returning today, I don't know, maybe someone knows something. Of course, we've seen a lot of big transactions lately, so maybe as well at the same time someone knows something. But 9.25% of the free floats being shorted works out to be 108.91 million shares overall being shorted. So a lot of weird type of scenarios are playing out, and I can't be the only one that thinks the price action with SoFi recently is very odd. I'm not complaining because SoFi has actually been holding up fairly well in comparison to the broader market, but begs the question, is something big coming as far as news? And I think generally, aside from their upcoming earnings, which is roughly around 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks away, crypto. So I think everyone's just waiting for SoFi to announce crypto, but at the time of doing this video, I don't believe anything has come out. I'll just hit refresh. So yeah, no news or anything along those lines. Looking at the options, 76 million in calls, 12 million in puts, 45% of all the options being done today were bullish in nature. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be kind of around that 29 to 29.50, so still a lot of good momentum on the table. Bears are anticipating for it to be kind of sub 27.50. So tomorrow might be a little bit of a volatile day. When it comes to the open interest, though, you do have 11,000 at the 27.50, 16,000 at the 28, 14,000 at the 28.50. and so forth around there. So as per usual, just watch for a lot of the kind of the strike prices, because if, let's say, SoFi gets to 29, best case scenario tomorrow, you might see shorts wake up a little bit just to suppress it enough where it closes below one of these key strike prices. So we've seen it happen time and time again. So just somewhat be prepared for that. But aside from that, these are all the transactions that did occur today on the secondary market above $100,000. So no different than yesterday. A lot of crazy, very weird transactions. So 28.7 million, so just over 1 million shares, 15.1 12.3, 3.7, and so forth and so forth. So a lot of big transactions, but Darkpool. So Darkpool is often enough used by shorts and as well hedge funds. Yesterday, we saw many large transactions, I think totaling $422 million. Today, actually, I'll just hit refresh just to see if there's any new ones. So it looks like the high for today, there was a single transaction that did occur after hours, possibly could be shorts returning, but 173.7 million. So that works out to be 6.1 million shares. There was also at looks like 326 89.6 million, so 3.1 million shares, 23.6, 2.8, 2.8, 2.8. So it's kind of funny. There's been numerous individuals over the last couple of videos when I do bring this type of stuff up, it's just saying that it's the Trump administration buying into SoFi. That would be insane, and I don't think anyone would have guessed that. But if that actually is true, which logically I don't think it is, but if that would be true, that would be insane. So yeah, let me know your viewpoint on why you think all these crazy transactions are occurring. Logically, you would assume technically by shorts returning that amount and this type of transaction occurring that it's correlated, but last couple of trading days, shorts didn't really do that much and we had the same type of transactions. So in my opinion, it is fair to assume that it's large entities getting in. And I think over the last probably 3 days, I would say about $700 million worth of transactions. So yeah, kind of crazy stuff. So let me know if anyone has any ideas on why that is occurring. But 28.45, that's where it closed at. Right below this R2. So 28.58 will be that key point to get over tomorrow. And then if able to kind of hold that, then $30 most likely will be on the table going into next week. So just watch for that 28.57, and then 27.68 is going to be the next strong support. For data points tomorrow, the big one is going to be the Michigan consumer sentiment, and so that is coming out first thing at 9 a.m. Forecast for that is 54. So potentially that could move the market a little bit. But aside from that, quickly popping back over here, things are looking pretty okay because of the consolidation. You have this stochastic RSI somewhat in neutral territory, so that's kind of a good thing. If there's a good PR that does come out, you could see a good rush of buying, but it is about the 10-day moving average, signaling a lot of good momentum. Looking at the market position from today versus yesterday, a lot more willing buyers, and even the sellers seem to be pulling their orders. So meaning SoFi could really move up very, very fast. So let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. What is your viewpoint on SoFi? Do you think that we'll be seeing like a push to 30 tomorrow, or do you think it's going to be just more kind of stagnant, flat? What's your general thoughts on all that? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.